Hello, welcome. Happy Friday. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gumansing, topping our newscast. St. Croix's Juan Louis Hospital is in somewhat of a limbo right now in terms of leadership. Juan Louis CEO Ken Okolo's contract was not ratified by the Territorial Hospital Board as scheduled, and now the St. Croix District Hospital Board is looking at the terms again. News 2's April Knight has that story.
Juan Louis CEO Ken Okolo is still at the helm of the St. Croix Hospital, but he's currently on administrative leave as the hospital board reviews his contract again. Okolo has been in the news recently when it was discovered that the New Mexico school that granted him his doctorate was not an accredited institution. His $360,000 a year contract was scheduled to be considered by the territorial board in April, but during that meeting, the board told its St. Croix members to renegotiate. On Thursday, during the St. Croix Hospital Board meeting, some hospital employees showed up to show support for Okolo, whom they said has been doing good things to turn the embattled hospital around. Okolo came on board in January 2015 as Chief Operating Officer. He took over as interim CEO in November as Dr. Kendall Griffith, former CEO, stepped down. At the time, Juan Louis Hospital was in the middle of a systems improvement agreement with the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. That's on top of a chronic financial struggle. In January, the hospital board selected Okolo as the new CEO. At the same time that CMS said the hospital was now CMS compliant. It's unclear how long Okolo will be on paid administrative leave. Our requests for comment to St. Croix Board Chairman Troy DeChabert-Schuster were not returned by News Time. Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
Senator Kurt Violet, who's the chairman of the Senate Committee on Health and Hospitals, has also declined to comment at this time. We will keep you updated on any development. With the recent approval to appropriate $8.1 million to pay down the amount owed to the Virgin Islands Water and Power Authority by the Juan F. Louis Hospital and the Schneider Regional Medical Center, Commissioner of the Department of Finance, Vladimir Collins, said that the department was committed to executing the payment expeditiously in the best interest of WAPA and the territory's hospitals, and today has done so. Bill number 31-0347 was requested by Governor Kenneth Mapp and approved by the 31st legislature to appropriate $8.1 million from a recent legal settlement to pay down the hospital's debt to the authority. Meanwhile, WAPA has more details on power plant failures on Thursday that left many residents across the district in a blackout that lasted a few hours. Restoration of power began at around 4:40 in the morning, according to WAPA. Then after that, WAPA personnel rebooted various components within Unit 23's control modules. Unit 23 was one of the generating units that failed on Thursday, causing that power outage. That unit was fully restored to service at around 10 a.m. Thursday morning. WAPA has already reached out to the unit's original manufacturer for technical assistance in improving its reliability until a scheduled major overhaul takes place in September. The unit must undergo a major overhaul before it is converted to burn 3 types of fuel: propane, natural gas, and oil. A 2016 Survivor Remembrance Memorial Tree Watering Ceremony is planned. It's planned for all survivors and supporters of veterans. Survivor Outreach Services will have its annual remembrance ceremonies on all 3 islands, and listed right there are the dates, times, and locations of this year's events. And on May 5th, it's at 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Vern Richards Veterans Memorial Park in Frederiksted, so that is still ongoing. St. Croix, May 12th, it's from 6 p.m. to 7 at the Franklin D. Roosevelt Memorial Park, St. Thomas. May 19th, from 6 to 7 p.m. at the Frank Powell Park, Cruz Bay, St. John. Well, a lot has been going on nationally in the Republican Party, including the dropping out of the last 2 rivals of Donald Trump. Locally, the VI Republican Party is dealing with its own controversies, and one of them is an inquiry into alleged election fraud. News 2's April Knight has an update.
The Virgin Islands Republican Party is now mired in an election fraud investigation commissioned by the party itself.
Well, we have an infection. I don't think it's a bad infection, but an infection, if you don't take care of it, it'll spread. So I think this investigation is the first step. It's a large dose of penicillin.
On Thursday, State Chairman John Canigata announced that complaints of fraud have been brought to him, but that he couldn't name names at this point.
Just to really, protect the innocent at this point, for lack of a better term. There's allegations of voter fraud. I mean, these are serious allegations. And we have individuals tampering and opening ballots.
Canigata said he's keeping out of the investigation and has hired an independent team to carry it out.
Henry Smock, attorney, the former judge, independent counsel, to take care of this business.
Canigata made clear that this will have no effect whatsoever on the VI GOP delegation to the August Republican National Convention. That delegation, he said, remains the second set of delegates and not the originally elected slate. And even with Donald Trump as the presumptive nominee and the lessening chances of a contested convention, Canigata says the VI delegation remains relevant.
But it doesn't minimize our importance or our role in the process. The 9 delegates, which includes myself, will be going to Cleveland in June. We still have a process to play. We still have individuals who are pledged to Ted Cruz and one to Donald Trump, and they still have, to vote for those individuals.
Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
The complaint received by the territorial GOP included sworn affidavits. According to Canigata, a full report of the findings of the investigation will be released to the public as soon as they are available. Governor Kenneth Mapp said Thursday his administration remains committed to establishing after-school and other programs for St. John youth. The governor and staff toured the shuttered Guy Benjamin School in Coral Bay, where plans are now underway to develop it as a multi-purpose community center. The school was closed in 2014 due to falling enrollment and remains in relatively good condition despite overgrown grass. Governor Mapp said he supports the plan for a community center and that its primary focus would be on academic enrichment and after-school programs, which would be funded through recent federal grants awarded to the Department of Education for that purpose. The community center would also house music and vocational education courses and be the home of the Coral Bay VIPD substation. The governor and other cabinet members were on St. John meeting with residents and business people and making assessments of the island's roads, public buildings, and infrastructure. His agenda included a tour of the island's recreational facilities with sports parks and recreation, department staff, and a meeting with the Mapp Potter administration's financial team. Scotiabank USVI continued its community involvement initiative with a donation to Project Promise. That presentation took place at Scotiabank's Sunny Isle branch in St. Croix. Project Promise is a local nonprofit organization that provides support to at-risk youth in St. Croix. They promote programs that teach life coaching, personal wellness, and academic tutoring. With a holistic approach to childhood development, Project Promise encourages St. Croix's at-risk youth to lead happier and healthier lives. The Scotiabank Community Program is a corporate giving program that supports opportunities for the children of our community. That donation was made during Scotiabank's Customer Appreciation Week. Job well done there. Maher Brothers Workshop, they held an open house and ribbon cutting on Thursday at their location next to Tutu Park Mall to showcase their expansion into 2 new training fields, welding and manufacturing. Now founded in 2007, Maher Brothers Workshop has helped over 500 youth find hope and take the steps towards obtaining their goals through mentoring, counseling, education, paid on-the-job training, and job placement. With the addition of welding and manufacturing, trainees will now be able to learn about the art of welding and the world of merchandising through manufacturing. At that ceremony, Maher Brothers Workshop also announced a new partnership with Kim's Kids Caribbean. That's a nonprofit focused on developing volunteerism and strengthening education with young people. Senator Nelson's Peace Initiative Committee will be hosting a community revival, a call for peace. Mark this on your calendar, Sunday, May 15th. That's from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. on Strand Street, Frederickstead. There will be motivational speakers, live music and entertainment, churches, youth organizations, nonprofit organizations, arts and crafts, vendors, local artists, and more. They're all invited. And you can contact Senator Nelson's office if you are interested in participating in this event. Turn our attention overseas, keeping our eye on Cuba there. This week, they announced price caps on basic vegetables to protect poor families' purchasing power as a rise in tourism to the communist island puts pressure on the food supply. The price of tomatoes, bananas, sweet potatoes, and 20 other products will be capped to combat inflation. And the government said that in a statement published in the media. Government data show the price of farm produce in Cuba rose by 27% in 2014. That rise continued in 2015. The government blames the price rises on Cuba's low domestic production and what President Raul Castro has called intermediaries in the retail market. Cuba has to import 80% of its food because its domestic farming sector is too small to meet demand. 3.5 million foreigners visited the island of 11 million inhabitants. Because there are no wholesale outlets in Cuba, hotels and restaurants compete with individuals to buy food from ordinary retailers. Well, keeping our eye on the economy, let's take a look at the stock market watch at the New York Stock Exchange. Taking a look at the numbers there, we can see everything up. The Dow 79, NASDAQ 19, S&P 500 also up at 6. Coming up on News 2, don't forget, Mother's Day is coming up this weekend. And, some ideas and also just a little bit of history of how Mother's Day came about. That's coming up. Now, don't forget, Mom, this weekend, Mother's Day, of course, celebrates motherhood, and it is a time to honor mothers, grandmothers, and great-grandmothers for their contribution to family and society. Mother's Day is usually celebrated with gifts, cards, flowers, a special meal out, jewelry, or chocolates and candy. Other special treats might include a spa or beauty treatment. It has become the most commercialized holiday for dining out and jewelry sales. Mother's Day originated from mainly two women, Julia Ward Howe and Anna Jarvis. Julia Ward sponsored Mother's Day each year in Boston around 1870 to promote pacifism and disarmament with women. Anna Jarvis organized the first Mother's Day in Grafton, West Virginia at St. Andrew's Methodist Church in 1908. Some families organize an outing for all of their members or hold a special meal at home or in a restaurant. Many schools, they help their pupils in advance to prepare a handmade card or small gift for their mothers. Well, Dr. Alfredo Heath, who is the owner of Seaview Nursing Home, said that its residents will not be moved to the States by the federal authorities. This according to an email from Heath to the Daily News. Seaview had lost its Medicare-Medicaid agreement in May of last year because of quality of care issues. That meant no reimbursement from CMS. The nursing home is now negotiating with federal health agencies. Both parties are slated to attend a status conference on Wednesday, May 11th. Count on two to keep you updated. And as we shared, it is Older American Senior Citizens Month. It's being celebrated by the Department of Human Services. A parade was held on St. Thomas this morning from the Lionel Roberts Stadium, and it ended at Emancipation Garden. Now on Saturday, May 7th, that parade will also be held on St. Croix. That begins at 10 a.m. at the Market Square or Times Square on to Fort Christian Verne. There will be a number of entries to include the St. Croix Majorettes, floats, schools, including Central High School, Marching Band, Pearl B. Lawson, Ebenezer Steel Orchestra, Head Start students, and more. And we will be sharing some video with you next week. Now on May 11th, here's some additional events. On May 11th, Rotary West will host our seniors for Bingo Day on St. Croix. That's from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Then on May 13th, seniors on St. Thomas will enjoy the day at Megan's Bay Beach beginning at 10 a.m. On St. Croix, there will be a health expo at the D.C. Canagata Multipurpose Center. The health expo will focus on screening services for senior citizens. These screening services will include cholesterol, diabetes, blood pressure, vision, podiatry, and other medical ailments affecting the elderly. Also participating will be the AARP, Department of Health, Continuum Care, American Cancer Society, Medicare, and other programs and services administered by the department. With all the recognitions taking place, let's not forget May is Mental Health Awareness Month with the theme, life with a mental illness. Nearly 44 million American adults and millions of children experience mental health conditions each year, including depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, and post-traumatic stress. Although we have made progress, they say expanding mental health coverage and elevating the conversation about mental health, too many people still do need to get the help they need. So this month, you are asked to join the cause, encourage those living with mental health conditions to get the help they need, and reaffirm the pledge to ensure those who need help have access to the support, acceptance, and resources they deserve. And we will have some more stories on where you can go for help. With the theme Everywhere for Everyone, this Sunday, May 11th, all the societies of the Red Cross and Red Crescent around the world will also celebrate the strength and reach of the global network and the contribution of 17 million volunteers worldwide. Volunteers of the American Red Cross of the VI are also part of this group of volunteers who respond to disasters and teach about disaster preparedness every day in St. Thomas, St. Croix, and St. John. As part of the celebration for this day, the International Federation launched a video that you're seeing right there, where it shows how the volunteers are everywhere for everyone. The Carroll family has been actively campaigning against crime and violence since the tragic murder of their son, Jason. Now, in Jason's honor, they're offering a full one-year tuition scholarship to UVI for young people under 20 who are VI residents and with a GPA of over 2.5. You'd have to write an essay on how to stop violence in the territory and submit them to UVI by May 11th.
Scholarship started when we decided to do the walk run, and we wanted it to be meaningful. Jason used to write essays against gun violence. We really want to hear from our young people what they think. We adults are saying everything what is wrong, but we really would like to hear from our young people.
Students submit to an interview, and the idea behind the interview is just find out if the students also are community spirited and not just that they can write well, because we're not just looking for scholars, although our students have been good scholars, but we're looking for people who also have an interest in helping out the community.
The Virgin Islands Department of Education, Division of Cultural Education, has joined forces with community partners to present Mayday, bring back our maypole tradition. That's on Saturday, May 11th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Agriculture Fairgrounds in St. Croix. The event will feature traditional maypole dancing from various schools and a host of other cultural activities, music and food. The Division of Cultural Education will also present the revival of quadrille in our schools, and that will be on Saturday, May 28th, beginning at 4 p.m. at the St. Croix Central High School. Both events are designed to increase cultural awareness among students and the community at large. Well, many were out enjoying May 5th, Cinco de Mayo on Thursday. Now, it's a holiday celebrating Mexican heritage. It commemorates the Mexican victory over the French at the Battle of Puebla on May 5, 1862. And many around the world celebrate with margaritas, tequila, mariachi music, and Mexican cuisine. Here in the VI, many were spotted right there at the favorite bars and night spots, including Rotary East 13th Annual Cinco de Mayo Chihuahua races at Yacht Haven Grand. It drew a huge crowd, as you can see there. This year, they featured a rest area for the pups away from the action so that they'll have a chance to rest and recharge their batteries between the races. Well attended. Now, for anyone who wants to extend the Carnival experience just a little longer, the West Indian Company Limited will be hosting Carnival on the Dock from 5:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. That's on Tuesday, May 17th on the West Indian Company Dock. Spectrum Band will be the main act. Now, this will be the six-time Road March champion's third feature performance on the Waiko stage. Also, a special intermission performance by Dancing Classrooms Virgin Islands. That will be part of the evening's entertainment. Founded in 2009 with students from only 3 fifth grade classes on St. John, the program now has a territory-wide presence in at least 11 schools and 31 classrooms. The Norwegian Escape will be in port from 8 a.m. until 6 p.m., while the Carnival Glory will be in port from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. The Carnival Magic will arrive at 11 a.m. and depart at 7 p.m. Remember, White Coast community concerts are free and open to the public. If you are headed to the beach this weekend, DPNR says, following all the rain we had, most of them are safe. However, the following beaches do not meet water quality standards because they exceed the established bacteria threshold and therefore are not considered to be safe for swimming or fishing. On St. John, it's Cruz Bay, St. Thomas, Secret Harbor, St. Croix, Frederickstead Public Beach, Buccaneer, Grapetree Bay. They say high levels of bacteria and turbidity may be caused by the runoff due to the heavy rains, heavy marine vessel traffic, high wave activity near the shoreline, irresponsible recreational use, etc. Runoff can consist of sediment, pesticides, animal feces, and oil and grease, all of which are harmful to the waters of the territory. Well, if you are headed to the beach, stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.